Let's talk today about the relationship between ideas of civility and notions of listening that we discuss in the culture centered approach. In much of the contemporary discourse on civility, civility is seen as an enabler that creates an opportunity for many different views to be articulated. Civility, thus, in the mainstream, is talked about as a tool that promotes multiculturalism, that promotes diversity, that promotes an openness to many different thoughts and ideas. What I will argue from the framework of the culture centered approach is that the dominant notions of civility work precisely to erase and to close off opportunities of listening by establishing specific standards and criteria that are connected to notions of civility and civilization, processes that make up civil society and civilized societies. Subaltern communities actually are erased from these spaces. In other words, civility works precisely as a tool within bourgeois structures to erase possibilities for listening to subaltern communities as a dictate about the kinds of communication and the strategies and processes of communication that would be acceptable. The notion of civility works precisely then to mark out the communicative strategies, styles, and processes that would be found acceptable within the dominant structures, and simultaneously then marking out the spaces that would fall outside of the domains of civil society. Ideas of literacy, ideas of knowledge of literate structures, ideas about what comprises literacy become integral to maintaining the status quo within the dominant structures of civil society, serving in this sense civil society, market, and the state. Subaltern communities within these contexts then exist outside these realms of civility as communities that are not represented, as communities that are not recognized, as communities that are incapable of participating. Ironically, then, ideas of civility, ideas of politeness that are connected to notions of civility can work precisely to undermine opportunities for listening to the voices of subaltern communities, and even more so, can be oppressive in terms of creating the kinds of spaces that reify the articulations of the status quo, the articulations of the dominant structures, and simultaneously erase the possibilities of participation of subaltern communities.